here with Mark Baumgarten, hello, and Severin, who they are two of the most flashy men in Seattle. Mark here is the executive editor of City Arts Magazine, which they're putting on City Arts Fest coming up.
The City Arts Magazine is.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, Mark Baumgarten's putting on City Arts Fest.
This guy has more to do with it than I do.
And yes, Severin here, who does Wake Up Productions and is one of the masterful owners of Numos, curated City Arts Fest. So we are here to talk about City Arts Fest. Surprise.
Which takes place October 20th through 23rd in clubs across the city, right?
20 great venues. 30 events and 20 venues.
You've got the Paramount with Blue Scholars, Macklemore, and more.
Yep. Blue Scholars be the first local hip-hop artist to headline the Paramount.
Yeah.
That rules.
Major feat.
Way to make that happen, both of you, and City Arts Magazine.
Yeah, and people are excited about it too. I think that's probably the one that I get more people kind of within the music community talking about that event than anything else. So.
Hometown pride.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Hip hop has been so on the premiere of everything.
Well, even beyond that, I think that that really the as far as like having a festival like this, you know, you can't book an entirely all local festival. It doesn't make sense. But what you can do when you do a festival of this scale is that you can just pinpoint one thing about the local music community and scene and industry that you really want to lift up. And between the Paramount show, which is Fresh Espresso, Mash Hall, Macklemore, Ryan Lewis, and Blue Scholars. You also have Fatal, who's opening up the Big Boy show at Showbox Soda.
And Nima.
Right? And then Raw Scion is playing with Head Like a Kite, and Tilson is all over this thing.
Yes.
So the entire festival, even though it isn't at all a hip hop festival, it is just peppered with all this great hip hop talent. So
We really tried to get as many different genres as we could that make sense for what we do. It's like how I book Numos is I want to include every genre I can so we reach everybody. Everybody's excited about it. So we've got punk rock, we've got rock, we've got indie pop, hip hop, we got a little alt country in there. I'm sure there's other things that we've got that, I'm not even thinking about. But yeah, it was pretty fun to be able to do that and be able to do it on a much larger scale. And there's still things that I wanted to do that I wasn't able to do, but hey, it's first year. We're just getting started.
Again, like you just mentioned, this is your first year of City Arts Fest, which is pretty exciting. So why don't you tell me a little bit about how it came to fruition?
The associate publisher of City Arts, Jake Newman, worked with me at this magazine called Sound, which is a music magazine that was around for a few years. And when Jake and I were there, we always sort of had this idea of running a magazine nowadays is so much more. In order to have success with the publication, you can't just cover culture. You have to be an active element in creating it. You have to weave yourself into the fabric of a community. And we made some attempts to do that with Sound, but really, the model wasn't quite right, and we just weren't really at the right publication to make something like of a larger scale that would have enough of an effect to, I think, lift up the brand to a certain extent happen. And so City Arts and Sound merged a year ago, and really one of the first things that happened is Jake went and talked to our publisher Paul and said we should put on a festival, and it should be a multidisciplinary arts festival with a focus on music. And and we talked about it a lot, and talked about what would work, and the model that seemed to work was that hadn't been done in this community at all is really the indoor club festival, like Music Fest Northwest down in Portland. The other thing about this festival is that there's a lot of other events that are more linked to performance and literature.
Seattle Art Museum. I think is
Yeah,
included.
yeah, like Seattle Art Museum, Northwest Film Forum, SIF.
The Chase 100 project.
The Chase 100 project, Pat Graney's dance company.
Theater.
Right, there's this great thing at the town hall called Soliloquy that we're putting on, which is notable non-actors performing some of the greatest speeches and monologues from theater and history, which I'm really excited
That sounds like fun.
Yeah. And it's, and these are all the things I think that the music really gets the hook, but hopefully we'll get people to come out and see some of these other arts as well. City Arts dug into it, and then Jake brought Steven on because obviously the man has a bit of a magic touch, so.
Tell us about that magic touch a little bit. Of all the curators in all the towns and all the world, why'd you pick Steven Severin?
It was kind of funny because Jake just called one day and was like, hey, doing this new festival, really want you to come be part of it. And I was just, at first I thought he was crazy because there was no way that I really had time to do it, or really, I wasn't sure it was possible with so many other festivals that had gone on. But I had worked with Bumbershoot on the advisory board for the last 5 years, and I decided to stop doing it this year. Interesting timing. But I really wanted to stay in and be part of a festival. Adam Zaks has Sasquatch, and Jason does Capitol Block Party. So I get to see some really great festivals. And I've worked with Trevor with Music Fest Northwest, so I've been around it enough that the opportunity to get to, curate and do one myself, I couldn't pass it up. And it's been great. It's been a crazy challenge because it's been really interesting that it's the first year. Sound Magazine just merged with City Arts a few months before, 6 months, something like that. I'm not too sure of the details. So everything's just kind of come together. And then it was like, okay, look, it's May and we want to do a festival in October. Let's go. And I was like, there's no way, that's not enough time. We're, 8 to 12 weeks behind schedule. There's no way we can do this. So we got the right people involved. Michael Hebb is the artistic director, and he has just come up with some crazy ideas that are all gelling and working really well. And then, Jake is just a workhorse, he has to do literally everything. And then hiring Lee Sims as the publicist has been great because she's gotten us so much press out there. Disclaimer, my wife, but still, she's killed it.
You should let me talk about her though.
Right.
No conflict of interest.
Once the opportunity got there, it was just like, all right, balls to the wall. Let's do this. Let's work. Let's make this happen. Start reaching out to everybody, and a lot of agents were like, "This is amazing, awesome," and other agents were like, "You're absolutely nuts. There's no way you can do this. You don't have the time." Mm-hmm. And so far so good. It's worked out. It's out there. It's booked. Still a couple things. I thought we were totally booked, and then I realized I don't have openers for a couple shows, but
We'll make it happen.
Most of it's done.
Okay, so
What's the thing that you're looking forward to the most at City Arts Fest? Let's get one from each of you.
I think I'm looking forward to, and this is tough to say because I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to check out, and that first night is really going to be hard because I really want to see Belle and Sebastian at Benaroya, because that's going to be an amazing show. You just know it is.
Yeah.
I want to be at the Paramount, and I want to see Macklemore perform The Town at the Paramount Theater, and probably have all those MCs come out and join. I mean, you can imagine just the great kind of drama that's going to unfold there. But I also know that it's going to be the first night of a 4-night party, and that I'm going to probably be exhausted from day 2 on. So I might as well go and go to the craziest show that I can think of and hit Gogo Bordello. And because I love those guys, but
hopefully timing wise, we'll be able to stagger time so that could actually happen.
Right. Well, let's set it up.
Bell and Sebastian. Yeah. I just had a call about that.
Yeah.
So we could stagger times, and you can, see most of Gogo Bordello or most of Bell and Sebastian, and then bounce over for Gogo.
Right.
And that's what ultimately we would like to see happen.
So mainly, I think I'm looking forward to overall just that kind of that first night where it's going to be all these choices, and I can't make a bad one.
Right.
Good answer, Mark. What about you, Steven?
So my favorite thing about booking a show is not so much always the music that's played. It's that when I'm either, you do a show at the Paramount and you're standing inside on the wings, you look outside and you see all those people out there, 2,800 people. That's what's going to happen at Blue Scholars. And it's going to be I helped make this happen. Mm-hmm. That to me is one of the greatest rewards of what I do daily. I like to see all the people out there having fun. That's what I'm most excited about. As far as what I want to see, I mean, obviously I've got to be at the Blue Scholars thing, because that's crazy. I mean, pulling that together and making that actually happen is crazy. I'm a huge Cat Power fan, and you never know how she's gonna be, if she's gonna be introverted and at her piano and super intense, or if she's gonna be rambunctious and running around. So I love seeing her. And Big Boy. I mean, I get to do Big Boy of Outkast.
I was waiting for you to say that.
I mean, there's a few shows as a booking agent that you really want to be able to do, and I have 3. Outkast is 1, and now I get half of it. So I'm partially there.
Right.
Tom Waits is a huge one, which I worked for somebody who promoted a Tom Waits show, and that was amazing. And
so you did make that one happen.
Kind of.
I thought you were laying out what the lineup was going to be for City Arts Fest 2011.
Yeah. And then Slayer. That's my festival. It's Slayer, Tom Waits,
Outkast.
and Outkast. That's my ultimate festival.
That's a festival.
And that would be
there.
a great City Arts Fest.
Man.
If we
can make that happen, then I will seriously be walking around Seattle with a swagger.
Yeah,
Well, we look forward to City Arts Fest 2010 and more to come on 2011.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you so much for your time, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.